Hi, we're Blake and Brittany, and
We moved to southern Ecuador 4.5 years ago with our 4 children and made a life here.
today we're going to talk about 5 things.
You shouldn't do things that we did, but you shouldn't do if you want to move here. So 5 things like don't do what we did kind of things.
Very good.
So some of these things like have turned out perfectly well for us, but in hindsight, it's like,
We wouldn't advise you do it the way we did
and
it.
other things like we legitimately made mistakes and you can learn from those. So
All right, so number 1, don't buy property too soon.
yeah, we bought our property 3 weeks after we moved here,
Something crazy like that.
really fast. And in hindsight, it's like, wow, like we didn't know what we were doing at all.
Yeah, we feel incredibly blessed to be in the little town that we ended up in, but we had no idea about this town. We knew nothing about it before we bought our property.
We found the land on Facebook Marketplace, and a friend who was helping us said, hey, that looks cool, and oh, that's a nice area. And we're like, oh, cool, great, and just kind of accepted it. And he's right, it's a nice area. We love our little town, but that's not like we didn't know what we were doing. It's just a blessing that it worked out that way, because now that we've lived here so long, there are lots of areas we wouldn't want to live in, and this could have been one of them for all we knew. So
yeah, well, we didn't know. That was the problem, right?
Yeah,
that lack of knowledge. So being here on the ground, being able to explore areas gives you so much better information.
Yeah.
Especially being here for some time.
Yeah, not 3 weeks. Like, and so people ask us, well, where should we look for land? And it's like, well, you should take your time and figure out what your priorities are, especially if you have kids. Like, are they going to go to school? Are they going to play sports? So, like, you don't want to live hours away from wherever your life ends up. So we really recommend figuring out what your life is kind of going to look like before buying land. And then there are so many other things. It's not even just town to town, but barrio to barrio,
neighborhood to neighborhood.
And again, we adore where we live. We love our neighborhood.
There are one of the reasons we bought where we did was because it had good established water systems, right? Whereas you could find amazing places that don't have access to any water, right? Or neighborhoods where water is a constant problem. And so really there's just these nuances of places
that you just can't really anticipate.
You can't anticipate and you can't know. Or like neighbor issues.
Yeah,
right?
Neighbor issues.
That you can't anticipate.
So getting to know people even in your specific barrios that you're looking at. And again, we're not talking just towns like, oh, look at Malacatos. Oh, look at Gonzanama. We're talking about neighborhoods in the towns. And so there's so many considerations. Also, like we bought land on a mountainside and there's very little flat. And we do kind of wish we had some flat land. The kids, they kind of lament they don't have a lot of places to play soccer, for instance. And so like, that's fine. We don't regret buying our property at all. We love our property, but that's a consideration. How much slope do you want? That's like a big factor in the Andes.
Yeah. And how hard is it to get to that property? Because online, you'll see lots of beautiful, amazing looking properties. But then if you actually try to drive to those properties, you're like, oh, well, this road is not really a road, and it's going to take me an hour to drive it.
No one's going to come visit you.
No one's going to visit you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you want that. But.
And like we're fortunate. We didn't really know what our life was going to look like here, and we did buy out of town. But we're only 10 minutes from like the heart of town, and we're only a few minutes from like
the heart of our barrio.
The heart of our barrio. But we didn't know what we were doing again. So don't do that. Like, know what you're doing. Be really intentional. Consider water sources. Like, we have various water sources, but we did buy directly above the irrigation canal. And again, we don't regret buying our property, but it sure would be nice to be below the irrigation canal and not have to pump up water. So that's if you're doing a lot of, growing things, that's a consideration. Again, the distance from life. Where is your life centered? Do you have a church? Do you kids go to school? Like, how do you spend your time? Like, how often do you want to be in town? Or that's the thing.
And then,
will you have a car?
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's plenty of places where if you move there, it may be the only way you can get to and from is your own vehicle, or
Or a very expensive taxi ride. We
yeah.
know people have paid a lot of money to get to and from in a taxi.
There are properties up the mountains from us where people pay $20 to get from town up to their property.
It's a lot
one
of
way.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Some places are only accessed by burro or horse.
True. That's.
I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into there. That's pretty obvious, but. And then there are always, you need to keep in mind, is the land clear title wise, paperwork, all of that, of course, also.
Yeah.
We know lots of people who have gotten committed to properties and then had all sorts of issues down the line. So
yeah, so it behooves you to do very good due diligence when you work with someone to buy a property. So using professionals to help you buy.
There's a thing here, and people get angry and say that Ecuadorians, they're not honest, and that's not the case. It's not a matter of honesty, but is very much a cultural component where people don't want to tell you no, and they don't want to disappoint you, and that can tie into this, is that land? Is that available? It's all clear and right. Oh, yeah, well, of course it is. And
one of the problems with properties here we've noticed is there's a lot of history of who owns properties and where the borders of those properties are, where the lines are.
Or extended family can share a property, and not everyone agrees that it's for sale.
There's so many complicated things. And it's only recent, really, that so much of this has gone through the notary process and stuff, and where all the boundaries are clearly defined by the law, of what your property is and what it is not.
So you can get your heart set on a place, and then it can. Just don't get your heart set on place. There's lots of beautiful places. So
and pay the
professionals to do that due diligence for you, even if you speak Spanish. Don't just assume because someone says it's available that means it's free and clear.
Yeah.
So
lots of complicating factors.
And again, we were
sneak in there.
Looking back, we were very blessed that things went smoothly. We love our house. We love our town and our neighborhood. But yeah, we had no clue what we were doing. So don't do that.
we are beyond blessed that it worked out for us in the way it did.
Yeah.
Because we've run into or met a few folks who've bought and it's just not gone well.
For various sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Number one.
Right, number one.
Ah, yes. Oh boy. Okay. Number two. This one hurts a little bit. We've done such a bad job consistently with number two, and that's don't buy a car too soon. Necessarily, maybe don't buy a car at all, but definitely don't buy it too soon.
Yeah, if your life doesn't need a car, public transport here is so efficient and cheap and available. They may not need a car.
Yeah, you may not want one. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, so. But we do, and we need a car.
Yeah.
And so our very first car, we did it the right way. It just ended up, we did.
But we did it too soon.
Too soon. We ended up buying an H1 Hyundai 12-passenger van, which are super common here. People use them all the time, and they're fantastic for traveling.
Yeah, it was a great car, actually.
Yeah, wonderful car. But here in Cuenca and that kind of thing, it's perfect.
It's a perfect city car.
Perfect city car. And we bought that
before we bought land.
Before we bought our land and had any idea of where we were going to be living.
And our land, to access our home, you really need a 4x4, almost certainly, or at least a much tougher car, not a city van.
We would not have wanted to destroy that vehicle.
And we had reasons for buying right away. I mean, we were 6 people, and taxis never accommodate more than 5. And so we were we need to get a car. This isn't going to work long term. All of that was correct, but and the car we bought didn't have issues, so we didn't buy the wrong car that way. It just didn't work with our life here.
We used someone, a local person here who does this for a living, not for a living, but this is one of the things he does is he helps people navigate the kind of the complexities and all the various things you need to do to purchase a car here in Ecuador. And so he does that, helps you do that. And
helps you source the car and vet the car.
Yes, he knows what he's looking for. He knows what
the pitfalls
are, what common problems cars here have. And so we used him twice.
And had great cars both times.
And
neither car was...
We ended up giving away that second car to a friend in need. And we bought a third car all on our own because, we
So we bought the van, and then through the same gentleman we bought. We just needed something 4-wheel drive right away. And it was only a 5-seater, so we knew it wouldn't work for us long term. And we didn't have that one long term, but it was a
No.
good car.
Yeah, it was a good car.
It suited us well. And
we-
then we actually own a bigger version of it now, right?
Yeah, a different or an older version of it.
But then we had, and we did our due diligence with those cars going through this gentleman. But car number 3, it was our truly disaster car, and it should have been great on paper.
It was a 92 Toyota Land Cruiser. And there are lots of Land Cruisers down here that was FJ80 models that you can find them all over the place. And so unlike the United States, you don't have to pay 40 grand for a Land Cruiser. And they're fantastic. This one had an upgraded suspension, just beautiful stuff done to it. It was really well done in that regard. But it was the worst car we've ever owned.
Just from almost day one, it had so many issues.
Every 2 weeks, broken down.
And so, like this one, it should have worked, right? But we didn't test drive it really, right?
It was.
This is common too, to buy cars from other towns, and you don't actually really lay eyes on them until you get it. And so that was a mistake.
Big mistake.
And the car did not. It was incredibly unreliable and was always breaking.
Cost us a ton of money.
Yeah, and repairs. And I mean, outside of like town here, you have really poor cell signal in a lot of these areas. Your car breaks down and you're stuck. And tows are very expensive. This car was just a constant nightmare. I feel like I have PTSD now from this car. Anytime I hear a noise with our current car, it's just immediately like panic.
Yeah.
So we bought that one from a friend. We did not go through the due diligence process with it. We did not have it vetted the way we should have. We just needed a car and thought this one would work. And don't do that. We'll talk a lot. We're actually going to be filming shortly a video on cars. But I think back to our first car. Like if we had waited and bought the right car just after we bought our property, instead our cars have gotten like older and cheaper because you have less and less money after you sell a bad car, and so so if currently we bought a car a good way. We've had it for a year now and it's been really great.
Yes,
we bought it from a mechanic it wasn't actually for sale. It was his personal car, and we asked if we could buy it and he was happy to sell it to us, but and that's been really good. But in hindsight, if we had just waited before buying our first car, that would have saved us a lot of grief. So,
because Ecuador, especially the mountains, I should say, the mountains of Ecuador are very hard on cars.
Very hard on cars. This is not a great place to have a car. You have to be a very active car owner, very diligent and aware.
You'll be making more repairs than you ever have in your life. So,
and it's just how it is. So, don't rush into it. Okay, number 3.
All right. So there is a lot of help down here, especially down more in the region where we are at, where there are people, generally lawyers or others, who offer services. Well, they'll help you do pretty much everything, right? Which is good.
Fantastic.
Very good. And a lot of times you really need that.
Or just even helpful friends, or volunteering.
Helpful friends, right? But so what we've come to learn is that there's so many things here, bureaucracy and such, that you need to navigate, that if everyone just does it for you, you don't know how to handle and do any of it.
Yeah, to the point that you can be penalized for not realizing. Like if we just had this experience this past summer, right, when we didn't realize that we had to pay the car matriculation, right, and then we got fined.
I had an issue with because we didn't use the person we used before to do all of the paperwork for the car. There was a transfer tax that I didn't know. So for how Ecuador works, all government fees, you have to go to a bank and pay those fees at a bank, and then take the receipt with you, right, to the government office. You can't pay any fees generally at the government offices.
No.
And so if you don't know what you're supposed to pay and bring to show them, no one's going to tell you.
They just assume you know. There's a lot of assumed knowledge here.
And so it's a plus and a minus, right? You have people help you do these things, but you should also learn alongside.
Yes, ask them, okay, what did you do so I can handle this next time? Or like taxes, like, oh, I'll pay your taxes for you. Oh, cool, thanks. Oh, a year from now, oh, I was supposed to do that. And I didn't know I was supposed to, or I didn't know how to.
Yeah, so you can become reliant on people to do lots of things for you that you should know how to do yourself.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's great that there is the help.
Yes, 100%.
But you don't want to get caught off guard, as you're kind of stepping into your independence.
So I guess I would say number 3 then is let people help you, definitely, because that's a huge thing here. But at the same time, don't rely on everyone to do it for you.
Yeah. Okay, so number 4, we've talked a little bit about this, and this is a big one for a lot of people, but don't just assume that you can come down here and that work will be easy to come by, whether you're talking about remote work back in your home country or local work. Um, it's not easy to come by. And having that figured out ahead of time will definitely behoove you. And we've done a lot of kind of learning on the ground and making mistakes and realizing that some of our assumptions weren't accurate and so on. So like with remote work, it's just hard to come by. We have a whole video on that, and it's just getting harder to come by. And then I guess you could even look at a lot of those jobs that can be done remotely are probably jobs that AI will be replacing, and so not super dependable. As far as local work goes, I mean, unless you speak the language, like we could get jobs here. We are legally able to. We could go work in just about any sector here, and we do speak the language, and so we very well could do that. But if you don't have, fluent Spanish, don't assume you can work locally unless you're kind of part of that like sub economy that caters to other foreigners.
Yeah, or starting your own businesses. Right?
Yeah, which often do cater to other foreigners because of the language, but not
yeah,
always.
Not always. But that can be, yeah, that's one of the ways you make money. But yeah, don't assume it's easy to find work or generate income.
Like Blake is a knife maker. He makes really, really beautiful knives. However, those are kind of economy dependent, and what his time and the materials and his skill is worth doesn't mean that an average Ecuadorian is able to buy that. And so that's also like, just because he can do it doesn't mean it's a reliable source of income either. So,
well, for like one thing, the main tool that's used here in Ecuador and like most of the world is a machete, right?
Cheap machete.
A $5 machete, where it is not worth my time to make a $5 machete. No. I can sharpen them, but no. So yeah, you've got to definitely look at all those things before you take the plunge.
And a lot of people come down and they've got their ideas like, oh, I do this, or it's like, but is there a market for that? And the expat population is very fickle, and it changes a lot too. So it's risky to just assume that other foreigners will be an adequate source of income for you. And a lot of the services and products that expats bring down aren't necessarily desirable to the local population. Now, there are people who find that sweet spot, and that's what you need to do a lot of times to make a living, is appeal to foreigners, but also locals. Yeah, so it's hard.
But there's lots of opportunity here too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of investment. We're always like, oh, why don't we export this or make more of this? And it's not really something we're equipped to do, but there's tons of potential for investment here.
Lots of potential. And at the same time,
if you have a little capital and business savvy, you can do really well.
Like I said, at the same time, I mean, if it's your dream just to come down here and homestead, I mean, this is a place where you can provide.
Yeah, you can do yourself. It. You can live off very little, but you still have to live off something. So, and yeah, you could sell from your land, and a lot of people do that. But you're just one of many people doing that too. So It's not hard. It's not easy, I should say, but it's very rewarding. And this place draws people for so many reasons. But getting rich is not one of them. So, okay, number 5, the things don't do what we did, and this is the trickiest one because we didn't do anything wrong here, but we still have regrets related to it. And I guess I called it "Don't force the timing," which in hindsight, like, we didn't really force the timing of our move, but if we had known what would happen 6 months later, we would have done things differently. And that Blake's mom was diagnosed with cancer just days before we moved here, and she'd had cancer on multiple other occasions, and so this wasn't. We assumed it would be like those times where she recovered.
Yeah, it was a common thing for her, unfortunately, for quite a number of years. But obviously, hindsight, I mean, we didn't know it was going to take her. So
in 6 months, and if we had known that, we would have delayed our trip. I mean, we had everything lined up. We had a rental, we had plane tickets, and all of that, in hindsight, could have been canceled, and we could have maybe moved from Washington to Arizona to be with her for those 6 months if we had known. And of course, there were complications. It was during COVID. I don't know how that all would have worked in reality. No one knows.
But all that to say, like, you may want to move and make this move down here, but definitely don't, like Brittany said, don't force it. Don't like push through despite it all. Definitely be very intentional
and consider like the ramifications of that. And those ramifications were we didn't get to spend the time with her that we would have loved to spend with her in those final months. We did not get to do that, and so and that'll always make us sad. That's always going to be a sad thing. And so now no one knows the future, of course, and we were making the best decisions that we could have made at that time.
at the time.
But yeah, in hindsight, if you think that something like that could be on your horizon, or numerous other
So many
things that could cause you to like, okay, maybe we're rushing, maybe we should wait and see how something plays out first. Just something to keep in mind as you're evaluating a move of your own.
It'll also give you time to make sure you have all your visa paperwork
Yes.
before you come.
Yes, all of those. Yes, in fact, watch our video of all the things we did leading up to our move, as well as this other video about visas and so on. So there's plenty to keep you busy. Earn a little bit more money. Won't regret that. So anyway, we hope that you can learn from our hindsight, from our mistakes. Don't do what we did, right? Don't do it. Just because it worked out well for us, we don't recommend you do the same. So
yeah, but at the same time, obviously, you have to make your own decisions and your own context.
And it'll be you'll have great stories. And
you'll have great stories. I think just moving to Ecuador, you'll have great stories regardless.
Yeah.
Or moving anywhere for that matter. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video.
Find us on averagefamilyabroad.com. We can be reached through our email there, and also on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, like this video, subscribe to Average Family Abroad, and we will see you guys on the next one.